Welcome to Rauta. This time I'm gonna do a little bit pondering, to which I probably don't have any real answer. Is that metal music, art, or entertainment? Now obviously we all pretty much know or should know that basically all music is either of these two. Some are probably both, but more or less music tends to be either art, style, or pure entertainment. But, and this is a big but, I mean, we're not talking about pop music here, and most definitely we're not going to deep delve into kind of a artsy, fartsy style of music. So when we're talking about metal music, is it or should it be defined more as art or entertainment? This is a question that has been going on in the scene more or less as long as I can remember. And why this topic kind of popped up again is that I have been reading this book filled with interviews mostly about underground metal acts, but also some acts beyond metal music, kind of related though. I will, by the way, review this book later on. But anyway, one of the questions that seem to be popping up all the time during different interviews is that, is music more an entertainment? Is it more an art? Is it a combination of these two? And what does it even mean? Now, most of the artists actually don't reply to this question so straightforward. And I don't think that's even the point there. This is more about discussion how one feels about being either entertainment or art. But I think it's kind of a fascinating topic because especially when we talk about more extreme metal, the more extreme forms of metal that is, this question seems to be going back and forth and nobody seems to know how to define it. Let me put it this way. If I were to say, yeah, this music is just pure entertainment, somebody would basically get upset because you just don't call my music entertainment. I mean, it's beyond that. I'm putting all my creativity in this music. It's not just to entertain you while you, I don't know, do your daily chores or whatever. It's art. Fine, I could totally live with that. I mean, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about Burzum or we're talking about bands like Death, Judas Priest, and so on. We could say, yeah, I mean, it's not just your pop music. It's not your next Rihanna. It's not your next Taylor Swift or some big ass hip hop name. So maybe it's more definitely art and just entertainment for the masses. But on the other side, on the coin, we find this term called art. And if we are exactly talking about so-called art music, well, we're soon going to the direction where we're talking about all kinds of avant-garde artists. We're talking about how it gets also artsy-fartsy, where it gets to this level that there's this artist waving his mustache, wearing maybe a kind of a artsy hat, having a weird hairdo, and all that stuff, having weird ways of living and not going even towards kind of a more approachable music. So in this kind of a black and white approach, we either have this entertainer, this artist who gets on the stage and is gonna ask the audience questions like, how are you doing, New York City? Are you having a good time? How are you, London? See your hands in the air, and all that stuff. We know big artists, big bands, they do that. They are there to entertain you, give you the show, but also they probably don't want to be labeled as just entertainment. I mean, they are more than just some bard in a corner of some tavern to play a little, flute action while you're sipping your beers. That's more about this kind of man in a guitar doing his acoustic guitar stuff, and nobody's there to just for the music. I mean, it's one step away from this kind of a karaoke stuff. Basically, one is doing cover songs and there is to entertain rather than, bring forth his or her art and, make it kind of like a artsy-fartsy feeling. But no doubt, when we go to this direction, once again, which is called art, I think many metal musicians are rather like, hey, don't get me started. I don't want anything to do with those weird hipsters who just have these fancy, goofy costumes, weird hairs, and explain things that are like beyond normal life. So most actually, in my opinion, fall between these two. But one question which I don't get answered, or I don't seem to know the answer personally or through my friends, is that what is so wrong being just, an entertainer? I mean, let's just focus not on the word or the connotation, like, I don't want it to be just a cheap entertainment. Why it has to be cheap? I mean, come on, let's imagine some cool black metal band on stage. It doesn't have to be Doctor and Burzum, which don't do gigs. We can have bands with credibility. Can have bands which have real message, kind of a statement of sorts, and go on stage. And I don't think it's like, hey, I can feel entertained while I am, taking this message to me, while it's speaking both my head and heart, or heartless body anyway. And I still don't feel like I'm in some weird art gallery, enjoying this blank square with a, I don't know, blue dot, and wondering like, is this really the meaning of existence? Is this really the meaning of life? Or what the hell I am staring at? Because sometimes it truly feels like if it's art, it has to be beyond normal understanding. And artsy-fartsy people tend to be a little bit off. It's like, hey, unless you are this weird creature, you're not really creating art. Or if you are supposed to be artist, you most definitely cannot live on your creativity. That is called art. I mean, an artist is supposed to be this starving personality who has to do some work which through he suffers so that he can actually do this art, because nobody is there to understand whatever he or she is doing. So and if you're an entertainer, it's totally okay to be commercial and have success, but then again, you're just this sad piece of entertainer who is just, enjoying these expensive drinks because it's entertainment and not real art. So sometimes to me it seems to be that people think that if you're an artist, you have to suffer and you cannot really sell. So only being able to be an artist, I mean a real artist, is only if you suffer and you don't make your living out of it. So basically, as soon as you make your living out of it, as soon as your merchandise, going nicely, and you do these tours and whatever, you're not artist anymore, you're entertainer. So it seems to me that both of these words actually have the kind of a negative feeling. And once again, it depends who are you talking to, with who you are having this conversation with, and ending up in the outcome of being like artists, nah, entertainer, nah. And basically everybody just wants to avoid the question. But in my opinion, it doesn't have to be like that. So in a way, I could say bands, even metal bands, extreme metal bands, can be both. Entertainment doesn't mean it has to be happy-go-lucky kind of stuff. It doesn't mean it's just like good mood stuff. I mean, I could consider Burzum entertainment as much as I could consider it sort of an art. I don't know, maybe I'm just talking these words of blasphemy and people are gonna get upset, but really I don't get these sides of negativity which are then directed at both camps. What do you think? Is an extreme metal band, or the music of extreme metal band, is it art or is it entertainment? Or why does it even matter? Could it be both? Should it be none? And if none, what it should be? Looking forward to your comments and something to feed you when you're next time you're gonna have this conversation over a beer. Is my black metal band an art project, or is it pure entertainment? See you next time and looking forward to your comments. I will get back to you. Take care and bye bye.